What's going on today, everybody? We're back in the fish room. We are today making our own DIY tank lids. I know what you're thinking, Merrick. Why don't you just buy the glass lids that go on top? Because those cost hella money. So, to get around that is we went to the old Home Depot and got ourselves some greenhouse material. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. It was about $55-ish for the sheet, a 4x8 foot sheet. And now with that, we can do this tank, the other 40. I already made the other ones for the 55, and then the rest of our 10s, and then we have our empty 40. I can make new lids for these because these glass pieces get way too dirty. While these lids here, they get a little algae on them. You just grab a rag and go, it'll wipe right off. I'll show you. Let me go grab a paper towel. Okay, paper towel. It's all green and nasty, right? Look at all that. All that green algae just wipes right off. Look at that. Wipes right off. It's not perfectly polished, but you don't need it polished. If you needed it polished, I could just take a little razor blade, which I don't know where I set it down at. You just take a little razor blade and just scrape it off real quick. But yeah, if you keep up on it, it won't even stick to it. It wipes right off. So yeah, that's another reason of using these lids. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to make them. It's easy enough, nothing crazy, not a whole lot to it. So I'll send you right over to when I went to Home Depot to go purchase it, and then we'll get into the video. Let's try and find the greenhouse section. Electric smoker, imagine, pit boss, no thanks. We're looking for lid material. We're looking for the greenhouse section. This one? Nope, definitely this one, the one I was on. Shocker. Okay. Old Menards has got it for us. Home Depot ain't got it. Okay, so I've used this paneling before, the clear ribbed one, but we're looking for the flat. Yeah, these pieces right here. Nice clear greenhouse, and it holds in the heat better. What's our prices look like? 55 bucks. 55 bucks. We could get a little channel too for a hinge, but I don't think they have one. They don't. So a piece of a 4x8 is 55 bucks. And you know how many lids I can make with that? Quite a few lids. We can make all the lids for the 5-gallon or the 10 gallons. We make all the lids for the 40 gallons too. If you bought that in glass, you're looking at probably $50 for the 40-gallon breeder. So you're looking $200 just in lids for that. So yeah, let's acquire this and we'll get back to making the lids. Alrighty, so the first step into making these lids is we need to measure the top of the tank. And I don't know where my tape went as of right now, but I have this longer yardstick type deal, and we're just going to measure off this. So these 40-gallon breeders are roughly 14 and a half by about 14 and a half by about 35 and a half. So we're going to cut our 14 first. We're just going to get it marked. We'll just get it marked. We're 14 and a half. Yep. And then by our, what did I say? I don't even remember. 35 and a half. And now you don't want your lids to be absolutely perfect, because then it's going to be too tight and it's going to be a pain to want to lift the lid up and down, up and down. You don't want that super tight. You want a little bit of play, especially in the back, because if you have air lines, you got heaters, all them cords need to be able to fit out the back. So you want to give yourself, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch, I would say. I would give yourself just a 1/4 inch, and that should get you pretty close. Use your straight edge so you got straight lines. And now this greenhouse material has ribs in it because it's like an insulated sheet for greenhouse material. So you're able to follow these ribs, because these ribs are perfect, like perfectly straight, that run the whole length. You're able to follow those ribs to keep you at a pretty good angle. They give you a nice straight edge. And then it does have a little protective covering on top of it too that'll peel off, and this will be crystal clear. All right, so I didn't give myself enough room. I measured it perfect. So we're going to give ourselves about a 1/4 inch, because them air lines aren't that thick. So mark there. Mark there. Straight edge that. Okay. Beautiful. And now, the best way to cut this that I've found is with just a simple old utility knife. Keep it nice and sharp. And it should, the hardest part, so when you measure, there's individual ribs on the sides here, and you're able to actually run your knife right down beside that rib. If you like cut your sheet, if you cut your lid long ways, you're able to run right down that rib. The only difficult part is when you have to cut across the lid, when you have to cut across all these ribs. I'll give you guys a closer look so you know what I'm talking about. Now you can see what I have marked out here. Ignore the far right line. But yeah, so it's going to be easy to cut along the rib, because you can just follow that as a guide, and you're not having to cut through all those individual ribs there. You only have to cut through the thin plastic on the top and bottom. But when you're cutting this direction, you have to cut through all those tiny little ribs, which makes it a little more difficult to do, but not impossible. I haven't really found any other better way to do it. I don't know, you could use a circular saw, but it's probably gonna make a mess. You could use a table saw, but I mean, this is nice and easy. Anybody can do this. Nothing to it. So we're going to start right along that rib. Once you get poked through, you can just slide right along that rib. As long as you got a nice sharp blade. This stuff's a little flimsy, so I would definitely recommend, if you had a piece of plywood or something, to put that down first and then this on top. So then it'd be a little easier to cut. I don't know if I have the sharpest knife here. Let's try and flip it around. That's a little better. And you can go over it a couple times. You don't have to make it through your first pass. Okay, we're through on that side. Now this is the more trickier, the more pain. Just because it is so flimsy. Cutting along these ribs is a little more difficult. You kind of just push through it with your knife, it cuts, pull it back out, do it again. Maybe it's because this knife's a little dull, I don't know. Oh, oh, oh! That's one lid. Now, since we have 4 40 breeders, what a ruckus. Let's do that 3 more times. So I got these lids made. I just made the 3 40s because you guys get the concept. You cut them, you measure them, you cut them to that size, give yourself a little bit in the back, and then you just cut them. Pretty simple, nothing to it. Anyways, now these got these nice film on it. Satisfying, right? And it's nice and clear. Oh, that's nice. Flip around to the other side. Perfectly see-through now, yeah? So this is greenhouse material, remember? So this will insulate the tank. So it'll hold our heat for us. Perfect left and right. See if we gave ourselves enough gap in the back. Not quite. Not quite. So all we're gonna do is we're just gonna trim all the way to the fin on both sides. I don't know if you guys can see, but see how I'm not all the way to the fin? I still have some extra there. We're gonna trim that off, and that should give us just the right amount. All right, we got that trimmed up. It's nice and flush to that next rib that's in there. Slide her in. Falls right in. Perfectly flush. Let's show you. Look at that, beautiful edges. Not too shabby, right? And it's not gonna block hardly any of the light because it's a green light or a greenhouse material, so you want as much light as you can get to see through it. So yeah, now the only other modification that I would use is something sticky on this so you can lift it up. I have a couple extra, so what I used to use is, you know, the little 3M sticky like hangers that you can put on the walls and stuff? That's what I would use on here. I'd stick it on here and I'd use that little hook to help me lift it up. I haven't purchased any, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. You could do that, or you could get a little screw and just screw it in there and then use that as your up and down. But I think the route I'm gonna go is actually a hook. Hey, you can see I got it on this lid. It's these 3M little hangers. I just throw them on the tops of my lids and it's a nice little handle to lift up on. So that's the only other thing that I'm gonna have to get. But yeah, that's how easy it is to make DIY lids. You don't need to go buying those glass lids that cost a lot. Don't get me wrong, you can and it like looks better, but this works great. I've never had an issue with it. All my tanks have this except this tank because it came with the glass lids when I bought it. And I didn't buy this brand new. I bought it off Marketplace or whatever. So yeah, if anything, at some point I will swap those out because those glass lids are trashed. Like there's really no reviving them. You can use Barkeeper's Friend to revive them and whatnot, but I like these way better. They're lighter. They're better insulator than glass. But yeah, if you guys learned anything, like and subscribe. That's pretty much it. I can just show you kind of what we got going on in that tank. Some nice guppies. Hopefully we got some breeding action here shortly. They're all hungry because I haven't fed them yet. Yeah, they're all hungry. I haven't fed them yet. The snails are moving around, loving it. Shrimp, they're hiding all over. They're everywhere. There's a whole bunch right there. Beautiful. But yeah, that's pretty much the DIY lid video. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.